The beginning of direct talks between the United States and the Taliban is an outcome of continued efforts by Washington and some of its allies to bring the group to the negotiating table. Now that talks have been announced, what should be expected of them? Andrew Wilder is with the United States Institute of Peace.
I don't anticipate in the next few months we're going to have a complete settlement to the conflict that has gone on for 3 decades in Afghanistan. But certainly I think talking is better than fighting, and in many of these processes there's talking while fighting is going on. And so I think at least now that we have a formal process of negotiations beginning is a positive step.
If it's a positive step for peace in Afghanistan, then why has Afghan President Hamid Karzai reacted so strongly? Robert Lamb of the Center for Strategic and International Studies.
What does it say about the government of Afghanistan if the government of Afghanistan is not involved in the most fundamental aspect of governance, which is peace and security in the country? The Afghan people might have a hard time believing in the legitimacy or the effectiveness of the government itself.
Mr. Karzai's threat to cancel the security talks with the United States comes just one day after Afghan forces formally assumed the lead role in the security of their country. But that does not mean the Afghan government will not need U.S. support to maintain security. Experts believe that sooner or later, the Afghan government will restart these talks.
Without a bilateral security agreement, the United States is not going to be able to stay in Afghanistan beyond 2014. And so it's not really clear to me that Karzai would be able to just cancel those talks entirely. As the media storm breezes over, he'll return to the negotiating table and we'll continue the talks.
Despite agreeing to negotiate with the United States, the Taliban continues to launch attacks against US and NATO troops. Some experts say this may be a part of the tactic.
I think in some ways the upsurge of some of the violent attacks we've seen in the past few weeks in Afghanistan, including in Kabul, could have been part of a process of the Taliban trying to strengthen the negotiating hand before going to the negotiating table to suggest, look, we still have the capacity to cause problems for you and therefore take us more seriously in the negotiating process.
Experts believe that in the long term, peace in Afghanistan, the security agreements and US-Taliban negotiations are needed to back up a robust political process. Kokab Farshori, VOA News, Washington.